and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday the 24th of January 2026. In today's Mill news, it was Matchday. Marauding Matchday, fantastic Matchday. A Matchday that we won 4-0 against Charlton. We bossed them from the start to the finish throughout the whole game. Absolutely dominated them. Smashed him into the ground. What can you say? I mean, absolutely fantastic performance. Well, it could have been better. Again, missed chances, but we had so many chances that we still scored the ones, even though we did miss some pretty blatant ones. But yeah, this is the match report from millfc.co.uk. Millwall thrash Charlton Athletic in SE16. Mill defeated Charlton Athletic 4-0 in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon at the Den. A Kane Ramsey own goal set the lines on their way early on, before goals from Caleb Taylor, Luke Conderwood and Adoya Maku in the second half ensured another victory in SE16 over Mill's South London rivals. Alex Neil named the likes of Alfred Doughty, Camille Negley and Josh Coburn in his starting 11 for the visits of the Annex, with a strong bench containing players such as Zach Sturge, Mihailo Ivanovic and Rhys Bangor Williams. After some early jostling for position, the Lions were in front just 7 minutes in, as a cross from Femi Aziz was not dealt with by the Charlton defence, and the goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski pushed the ball onto Ramsey and in the back of the net. And that guy, he was literally grabbing onto Josh Coburn's. He wasn't even facing the ball. The cross was coming in, and that Ramsey guy was, grabbing Coburn's shirt and watching his face to determine where the ball was. It's like, oh, well, Coburn's looking at the ball, so if I look at him, I'll find out where the ball is. Well, that didn't work out well, did it, mate? And if you don't know, that's the same guy, that Ramsey guy. He got sent off in the last game, which the Charlton away game, which we were struggling in, and that changed the game. So literally, he's, I think he probably would rather see the back of us, to be honest. He's not doing too well in the two games against Millwall that he's played this season. 4 minutes later, Mill kept the ball alive in the final third and Trista Cram across to the back post and Coburn, but the striker headed over before Charlton's first opportunity at the other end went to Tyrese Campbell, the attacker forcing a save from Max Crocombe. The Annex forced a couple of corners to no avail following that, but at the other end, Aziz powered forward for a shot on goal from the edge of the box. Kaminski parried, with Negley unable to pounce on the rebound. Handball shouts from three sides at the Den went unanswered, as both sides played pinball from a Doughty corner. Replay showed the ball struck the arm of Macaulay Gillespie, whilst Negley's burst and cross almost saw Aziz make it 2-0, only for the winger to scuffy strike from 12 yards out. Again, shades of the old Femi Aziz there. You remember when he used to miss decent chances like that? Was that last season or earlier on this season? Yeah, on 37 minutes, the Lions were represented with a golden opportunity as Aziz's long busting run down the right-hand side and delightful low cross picked out Coburn yards from goal, but the attacker put the ball wide from close range. Yeah, how? He didn't even get it on target. And if you watch the highlights, you wonder how. How has he not got that on target? To be fair, he's tried to be clever. He's tried to put it in the bottom corner, but just get it on target. If he saves it, it comes back out. Someone else can have another go, or maybe you can have another go if it bounces back to you. You've got to get it on target. The Lions started the second half strong, with Coburn picking the ball up in midfield and beginning an attack that ended with Aziz heading Negley's cross towards goal, but a Charlton defender got the necessary block to turn the ball behind. Aziz then wrestled back possession around 25 yards from goal and let fly, but his effort went wide of the post. With 52 minutes played, it looked as though the Lions would go 2-0 up as Aziz crashed a header home from a cross, but he had strayed into an offside position and the goal was chalked off. Some neat football between Aziz, Casper Denor and Cramer allowed the latter to have a strike on goal just after the hour mark, but Charlton hurriedly cleared, with Ivanovic then being introduced into play as Coburn made way on 65 minutes. Aziz's dink through to Langstaff was just too long 2 minutes later before the number 11's cross found the head of Cramer inside the box, only for the Frenchman to skew a header wide. Damian Mack was a replacement for Denor with 7 minutes to play, and the Lions came forward again with 75 minutes on the clock through Aziz, whose cross went begging across the edge of the 6-yard box, before Amaku struck into the side netting. Amaku then beat his marker and saw a deflected effort bounce behind at the far post, but with 9 minutes to play, Millwall went 2-0 up as a corner was confidently headed home by Taylor. Bosh. Luke Cundle and Sturge replaced the tireless pair of Doughty and Langstaff following that goal, and after Aziz was fouled in the box, Gavin Ward had no option but to point to the penalty spot. Negley stepped up and Kaminsky saved, but Cundle managed to scramble home the rebound. No, that's not really what happened. It's not, the rebound, he didn't scramble home the rebound. The rebound was going out of the goal line. Negley, after an atrocious penalty, he ran over and followed it up, and he just kicked it across goal, and Cundle was there, and he bundled it into the net. So he didn't get the rebound. He got Negley's. Negley got the next. Negley went over and crossed it back into the area, but at the moment he's like. A bit of confusion about who was taking the penalty. Negley, demanding that he was taking it. Well, I think Femi Aziz wanted to take it, but we'll find out about that later because there is a piece about Alex Neil discussing that in the post-match comments. So what was all that about? There was still time for one more, however, as Amaku picked up the ball on the edge of the area to plant past Kaminsky and round off a fantastic day for the Lions. Yeah, fantastic goal from Amaku. Right, the team was Max Crocombe, Tristan Cramer, Caleb Taylor, Jake Cooper, Alfie Doughty, Casper Denor, Billy Mitchell, Femi Aziz, Macaulay Langstaff, Camille Legley and Josh Coburn. The subs bench was Danny McNamara, Zach Sturge, Mihailo Ivanovic, Ryan Leonard, Adomi Maku, Luke Cundle, Rafik Lamptey, Reece Bangor Williams and George Evans. The subs that came on was Sturge on for Doughty in the 82nd minute, Maku on for Denor in the 72nd minute, Cundle on for Langstaff in the 82nd minute, and Ivanovic on for Coburn in the 64th minute. And Cramer got booked, and the attendance was 19,004. 19,004 with 3,036 away fans. Funny, before the game they were all complaining that they didn't want to be kept behind after the game. Well, as soon as Taylor made it 2-0 in the 81st minute, a lot of them just decided to go home early. After all that fuss. Well, Gavin Ward being Gavin Ward again. Some bizarre decisions. A lot of shirt pulling going on, which this is brought up before. When Fleming was here, this was the thing. So they changed the rules about you're allowed contact, but contact does not mean pulling of the shirt. That is not contact. You're allowed to because what they were doing, people were getting touched and diving on the floor, and say, well, let's advise that there is allowed to be contact. It's not a non-contact sport. So they wanted to stop doing that. So they were playing on from that. But, the guy... So, a number of times, Coburn and Jake Cooper having their shirts pulled, being wrestled and having their shirts pulled. And, and he gave a free kick the other way. So what's the decision there then? That you think Jake Cooper dived? Jake Cooper would dive and Josh Coburn dived, you think it's simulation then, because you gave a free kick against them. So what? Well, they were on the ground. They got wrestled to the ground. So then surely if they get wrestled to the ground and you give a free kick against them, that's simulation. That should be a yellow card. Or what did you decide? Not only that, but, a decision that kind of went in our favour. It didn't matter in the end. Jake Cooper was doing some shirt pulling of his own when Lyndon Dykes was through on goal. Lyndon Dykes, what would you say? So his shirt got pulled and he kind of dramatised it by throwing his arms out and, wobbling on his run. Like, oh, the referee, quick, he's fouling me. And when he stuck his arms out to, gesticulate that he was being, molested by Jake Cooper, he's handed the ball. And then Gavin Ward gave a handball to us. So, which, a bit harsh, but, But, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. But it did give us a penalty. And much confusion about, who's taking the penalties. So, because we haven't had one for a while, have we? One thing to note as well, we scored two goals in extra time. Extra time was 7 minutes. Now, the reason why extra time was 7 minutes, because the genius manager, absolute genius manager of Charlton Athletic, Nathan Jones, who, there's a lot of animosity towards him. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm not bothered. But today, I could see why a lot of people think he's a fucking moron. So 5 minutes or so into this, after the 52nd minute? When did Aziz get the ball? 52 minutes. So after 52 minutes, we should have been 2-0 up. After that happened, straight away, the keeper's on the floor. Medical attention. Oh, the keeper's on the floor. We have to stop the game. So, of course, he's got something in his eye. There's a problem with his eye. Oh, okay. So while all that shit's going on, obviously all the Charlton players come over to the side, the managers, and he makes 3 substitutions. 7 minutes into the second half. Because, they were getting absolutely bossed. But then, they played worse. They played worse. I think he switched to 3-4-3 or something. It's like, you're getting absolutely overrun. Okay, let's make 3 changes and go more attacking. Like, bruh, are you okay? Are you okay? So, because he did that, Gavin Ward then added on 7 minutes onto the extra time, which has allowed us to get those 2 extra goals. Because we were still going for it. We were still going for it. Especially, you bring players on like Cumborn and Maku, they want to score. They've had a bit of a mixed season, to be fair. So because of that, that's cleared out our goal difference. So thank you very much, Nathan Jones. We are now +1 on our goal difference because we bashed him 4-0. And to be honest, it took us until the 81st minute to score that second one. And, even though we absolutely dominated them, you think all they need is, a bit of luck or Gavin Ward to give them a penalty or something. And we could come out of this, without the win. But then we do get that second goal and everyone's just chilling out. Okay, that's it. Game over. Absolute game over. They're not going to score 2. They're certainly not going to score 3. Game over. We've won this. And then, it's party time. We score 2 more goals. So, absolutely fantastic stuff today. Absolutely fantastic. Now, moving on to this. This is from millwallfc.co.uk as well. It's match action from the game. It's photographs. So, there you go. There's Coburn there. That wasn't the miss. Oh, no, that was the first goal. So, this is the first goal. So, the keeper's smashed it one-handed onto Carl Ramsey's. You can see he's pulling his shirt there. He's pulling his shirt even there. Like, bro, the ball's already in the fucking net. You can fucking let go now, mate. Jesus Christ. And there you go. Langstaff flicked it on. Langstaff's header. He just headed it towards goal. He just flicked it on, and the keeper parried it into the Ramsey, and it went in. I think the cross came from Aziz, didn't it? Aziz was fantastic today. Absolutely fantastic. I think this is the miss. Now, here we go. Josh Coburn. Do we get no? You know what he did after that, and I hope for the love. Is there blood on his knee? I hope for the love of God that we don't find out that he's broken his foot, because this fucking moron, he kicks the post. He kicks the post. It's like to add injury to insult. You've just missed an absolute sitter that you should have scored. You didn't even get it on target from 4 yards out, and you kick the post. If he's broken his foot or some bruh, I'm gonna lose my shit if he's done that. I don't know. He did come off, but I think that was pre-programmed, just fitness thing. But you never know with this, because the adrenaline can get you through, and then after the game, like they talk about Derek Mazusaka, where his foot swelled up. In the moment, it's not, you don't know it's injured, but then afterwards, you certainly know. Was it DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness? How about delayed broken bone soreness? That's the second goal, finally. A relief from everyone. Absolute relief. And I mentioned this the other day. It looks like Caleb Taylor he's taken on the role of Jake Cooper of being the centre-back that scores goals. So that's good to see. We now have another option of scoring goals. Goals from all over the pitch. And even though the strikers were busy and they did get involved, Josh Coburn was there for that first goal. That was an own goal. Langstaff flicked it on. All of the goals are scored, not by strikers, really. Maku's a forward player, but, And there you go. Everyone's absolutely loving it. And that is the penalty. Slides in. Takes his standing leg out. And there you go. This is it. So, this is Negley. He's taken the penalty. It's absolutely atrocious. It was like a Panenka, but to the side. Like, what are you doing? If you're not going to welly it, then don't take the penalties. What are you doing? And there's Kundal there with his left foot. Just getting his left foot on it. So, yeah, lovely stuff. But Ivanovic is there already. So, one of them would have got it. And there you go. Good for Kundal. Absolutely good for him. Out injured, comes back, scores a goal. Negley, are we back? Yeah, we're back round now, aren't we? No, that's Maku's goal. Maku's absolute thunderbolt smashed it into goal. There you go. Good for the lad. Get his new contract sorted, Gallen. If we're not signing any players from any other clubs, try signing the players that we've got. Okay, so there you go. That's the match action. Now, before we get onto the post-match comments, we have to talk about the madness that is the saga of Barry Bannan. What the hell is going on here? So, I put this on the Daily Millwall YouTube community page. Right, what the hell is even going on? This guy, who works for BBC Sheffield, he's put out this tweet earlier today. Per sources, understand Sheffield Wednesday, as of now, have not yet received a formal approach from Millwall for Barry Bannan, ahead of what has been reported is expected to be his last game for the club today, and no permission has been granted for discussions to take place. Believe the administrators are likely to make a statement next week clarifying this position. So, and there are other rumours that came. So there's some other people who are linked with Sheffield are saying there's a medical tomorrow. So what the fuck is going on? Well, Barry Bannan is of course out of contract in the summer. Because he's out of contract in the summer, he can talk to other people about what to do when his new contract runs out in the summer. But what then if someone has said, well, how about you come now? So we could be talking to him or his agent. So we're doing a deal, it seems, with Barry Bannan and his agent. In terms of, we're talking to them. We're not talking to Sheffield Wednesday. And here's the thing. So they're saying there's no approach has been made. Well, we can talk to him about the summer window in terms of was he getting him now. But then it gets even more confusing because I don't know if it's on this one or the next one. So this is from the star.co.uk, which is the Sheffield Star. Interesting that they managed to get that website, eh? Sheffield Wednesday looking to find solution with Millwall. Henrik Pedersen praises exit bound Barry Bannan. So an emotional goodbye signalled what is almost certainly the final appearance of Barry Bannan's decade with Sheffield Wednesday, with manager Henrik Pedersen paying tribute to one of the club's legendary figures. The veteran Scot remains Wednesday's most effective player and told coaches and teammates on Friday of his decision to leave the club, with Millwall long since understood to be his most likely destination. While no formal transfer bid has yet been received by Wednesday, as per the Star's latest understanding of the situation, it is understood that Bannan, Henrik Pedersen and the club's administrators have been in dialogue over the situation in the last couple of weeks. There has been a verbal agreement of some sort to allow Bannan to move on a free transfer terms, and though Millwall will have to raise a formal offer before any move is to be officially ratified, the expectation of all involved is that a deal will be completed in the coming days. So here's the thing. In the summer, he was out of contract for a long time because the club was in trouble, and he took a massive pay cut to stay there, and apparently a part of that was for some reason he could leave on a free transfer. That may be if they are still in administration, or if they look likely to be relegated. I don't know. We have no idea what the situation is behind the scenes. So we're doing a deal with Bannan because he knows what's in his contract with Sheffield Wednesday. But we can say that we're talking to him regarding a deal in the summer, and all this just came up that maybe a deal could be made today or this week. But then if he's available on a free transfer, we have to make an offer to Sheffield Wednesday of what? £0.00. Do they really want us to do that? We have to fax them or mail them or email them an offer with the terms being £0.00. Like, what? Right, okay. Speaking to the Star following the emotional send-off in which Bannan was seen crying into the away section, Pedersen said, I can say that Barry wants to leave, and of course I don't want it to be that he has to leave, but Barry and his representatives are speaking with the club to find a solution. So they're still trying to figure something out. So, what's the deal there? Play was halted with a couple of minutes to go as Bannan was substituted for youngster Jarvis Thornton to receive the applause of Ashton Gate. Wednesday fans sang his name throughout the match, and his departure from the pitch was met with handsome applause from huge sections of the home support who paid their own respect to one of the great championship careers. Pedersen, speaking in a croaky and illness-ravaged voice, no doubt ill-eased by the emotion of the day, spoke heartily on scenes that told plenty about the connection shared between Sheffield Wednesday fans and their captain. Oh, you could tell with everything. The Bristol fans were also good today, but our fans were amazing, and they were singing for 95 minutes, and the players could feel their support, but Barry especially could feel that support through 95 minutes. It was incredible, and it tells you everything about what Barry means for this club for 10 years, and in my years, he's been a fantastic captain, and since the summer, how he has handled the situation, it makes him a great player and a fantastic captain. I said to him yesterday, we have two basic values. The human always comes first, and We don't do something to get something, we do something to give something. And Barry is a great example of both how he has been a leader and a captain for us, and he's a good friend of mine, of course, and we will miss him, and we have big respect for his solution. So there you go. Again, what the hell is going on? Clear as mud. But we've also got this from bbc.co.uk, which I'm bringing you this. So Bannan wants to leave Sheffield Wednesday, says Pedersen. So this, the quote that we just had, obviously he said he wants to leave. So Captain Barry Bannan wants to leave Sheffield Wednesday. The manager's confirmed, etc., etc. Bannan has been strongly linked with a move to Millwall, but Pedersen said he did not know if a medical had been arranged for the former Scotland international with the Lions. So there you go. Where's the medical? Did he talk about the medical? It's basically the same quote that we've got, so there's no point reading it. And okay, so they don't talk about the medical, but he talks about the other players. So if Sheffield Wednesday are selling him to try and raise money, it says Pedersen also confirmed the club have received an offer for Swedish midfielder Svante Ingolson, but turned it down because it was not good enough for his quality. Teenage defender Yiso Alau has been linked with a move to Chelsea, and Pedersen said something will be finalised regarding the player's future. Meanwhile, Pedersen was unable to confirm whether right-back Jan Valery, who did not feature against the Robins because of injury, would also still be at the club once the transfer window is closed. So yeah, again, talk of a medical for Barry Bannan tomorrow. Sheffield Wednesday haven't received an offer from Millwall, but he's allowed to leave on a free transfer terms in his contract that he and his agent know about. So what the hell is going on? Who knows? But talking about what the hell is going on, get ready for this, because this is going to be us next season when in the Premier League. All the famous people will be coming down to the den. So this is dailymail.co.uk, and today you may have known or not known. If you were at the ground, you probably didn't know, but apparently someone told me on the television they kept going to the crowd, and it was Daniel Day-Lewis and Gary Oldman. So yeah, Hollywood A-listers with 4 Best Actor Oscars between them spotted watching Millwall play. So can you figure out link to the Championship club? Well, yeah, it's because they're fans, huh? In a week when Sean Bean was spotted watching Sheffield United, Millwall have got in on the act with 2 Hollywood A-listers of their own in the stands. Watching the Lions 4-0 Championship demolition of Charlton were world-famous actors Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis. Cameras caught the pair, who have 4 Academy Awards for Best Actor between them in their illustrious careers, enjoying an afternoon out at the Den on Saturday. Day-Lewis, 68, was seen wearing orange-tinted sunglasses and a black beanie, while Old Man, 67, was slightly more understated and a flat cap. Oldman, who has won his Oscar for his portrayal of Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour, grew up in nearby New Cross. His father even reportedly played for the club after World War II. He grew up a Millwall fan before turning his affection to Man United after idolising George Best. Day-Lewis is a lifelong Millwall fan, was raised in Greenwich in South East London, growing up just 2 miles from Oldman. Though the former was from an aristocratic Kensington family, his father was poet laureate. Day-Lewis picked up his 3 Best Actor Academy Awards for My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood, and Lincoln. TNT Sports caught up with Oldman last year. Oldman and Day-Lewis chose a perfect game to attend, with the home side dominating a 4-0 victory. Yes, that was fantastic, wasn't it? And then they go on to talk about Sean Bean for some reason. Okay, so there you go. Pictures, you see them there? Now, here's the thing. Normally, they would dress like this to kind of fit in, but the thing with Oldman, he's in that program Slow Horses, where he plays like a slob-like guy, so you can't really slob out and go incognito, because you look like the guy that you're playing on Slow Horses. And there they are, sitting next to Scott Fitzgerald. He doesn't seem happy. I think, he was having a drink and Daniel Day-Lewis pulled out a straw from his jacket. He put it in Fitzgerald's drink, and he went, "I drink your Bovril." So yeah, I don't think he's happy. I don't think he was happy about that. And if you haven't seen then There Will Be No Blood, that will make no sense to you at all, and you will think I am a lunatic. Now, moving on to the post-match comments. Here we go. Southwarknews.co.uk. Alex Neil pleased to have proper celebs at the Den after Oscar-winning duo watched Millwall rout Charlton Athletic. Yes, Alex Neil jokes he hoped to have a beer with Daniel Day-Lewis and Gary Oldman after the Oscar-winning duo witnessed Mill's 4-0 demolition of Charlton Athletic at the Den. Yes, the two actors were born in South East London and grew up supporting the Lions, with Oldman's father supposedly playing a few games for the club. They were spotted in the stands as Mill front the South London rivals, and then they replayed the game, yada yada yada. Neil was asked by News at Den whether he was aware they were watching. We've spoken about it today in the week. Mark said to me that there are a few celebs coming. I thought we were going to see somebody from Love Island or something like that, which is not my bag. But when he told me who it was, I thought, oh yeah, they're proper celebs, aren't they? And I think that's going to come down in the room and have a beer, hopefully. So yeah, there you go. Get a photograph. That's the fashion of the day. Now, moving on to the post-match comment about the actual game. I thought certainly 4-0 didn't flatter us. Mill boss reacts to thumping of rivals Charlton Athletic and explains attacking setup. Yes, Mill boss Alex Neil thought his side could have beaten Charlton Athletic by a wider margin than the 4-0 thumping they came away with at the Den. Indeed. Probably 6-0. The Lions dominated their South London rivals and had a well-deserved lead at half-time. Yada, yada, yada. I thought the result was a fair reflection. Could have been even better for us, if I'm honest. My biggest frustration going into half-time was the clear-cut chances we had in the first half that the scoreline wasn't more in our favour. What we spoke about at half-time was basically get the next goal, we need to go and put the game to bed, and we need to be more dominant, and we need to have a little bit more aggression in the press. First half, I didn't want us to be too aggressive because I know they just wanted to turn it, so we didn't want to surrender too many men through, and then you leave yourself light at the back. And it's important we get that balance without them dictating play, and I thought them having the ball a little bit, which is not something I normally do, was beneficial for us, to pound out that way in the first half. Then in the second half, we really turned the screw. I got locked onto them a little bit more, got more combinations down the right side, got better combinations down the left side, and got in really good positions to see the clinical nature at the end. It was pleasing for me. Because I think that's the bit right now that we need to be better at it if we really want to push on. We felt our performance in the first half was okay, and we could have certainly played better. But the second half, I thought that was the best of what we are, which is, really dangerous in transition, really good at passing the ball. And when it lands, I think our combination play was really good, and some of the lads on the ball were really composed. And as I said, I thought the 4-0 certainly didn't flatten us. Turno Ballo, who has started on the left in the past 3 league games, missed the match through illness, meaning Camille Negley, who typically plays in a more central role, moved out wide. Neil explained how that worked in practice. What we did is when we bumped Alfie from left back and rolled Camille in. So the first goal, Camille comes around the front and lands on it and puts it out to Femi. And then the cross comes in and we scored at the back post. And it was more about rolling in off that left side with Camille. Then when Adelmo come on, they went 4-4-2, so we wanted to pin the 2 fullbacks in. And then we cut her up to the front and link with Maka, and the game panned out as I thought it would have panned out. But it's like anything else, if they go and score and transition all the way, and our left back's high, then it's that sort of cat and mouse between having enough aggression to try and win without overexposing yourself. But I thought the lads did it brilliantly. Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Now, regarding the situation with the penalty, what the hell happened there? Well, it's dealt with. He's dealt with it. Alex Neil's dealt with it. Millwall boss addresses penalty dispute after Charlton win. But all's well that ends well, because we did score from the penalty, although, they're seconds. Not directly. Alex Neil said the dispute between Femi Aziz and Camille Negley over who would take a penalty against Charlton Athletic has been dealt with the Lions 2-0 up in added time against the South London rivals. Aziz was brought down in the box and Gavin Ward awarded a penalty to the home side. Aziz remained down and looked injured as Negley took the ball and placed it on a penalty spot. Negley exchanged words first with Adoma Maku, then Aziz, who wanted to take the spot kick, before Captain Jake Cooper intervened to settle the dispute. Calm down. Negley's penalty was saved. Yeah, it was an atrocious penalty as well. But he got to the loose ball and played it across for Luke Condell, who tapped it in from close range. And Maku scored a fourth a minute later to heap further pain on the Alex. Alex Neil addressed the situation after the match. Generally, we've got a penalty taker, and the fact that Femi was down and looked injured, I think that's why Camille decided he was taking it. And then obviously Femi pops himself up, but it's not an issue it's dealt with. I've already spoken to them about it, and I made it clear that the discussion should never happen on the pitch. So that's already been clarified, and the lads are aware, and we've spoken to each other. It's fine. It's no problem. Yeah, it was a bit weird, but I mean, bruh, if you can't be demanding to take penalties and you take them like that, that's just fucking shite, mate. Absolute shite. So, let's have a look at this table then. Lovely little table. Well, before we get to the table, we have to talk about the other results from the Championship this weekend. On Friday, it was Derby 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. And today, Middlesbrough 4, Preston 0. Millwall 4, Charlton 0. Queens Park Rangers 2, Wrexham 3. Sheffield United 3, Ipswich 1. Hull 2, Swansea 1. Leicester 1, Oxford 2. Birmingham 1, Stoke 1. Blackburn 1, Watford 1. Bristol City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And there's still 2 more games to come. Portsmouth versus Southampton and Norwich versus Coventry, which not really anything to do with what we're dealing with. Before we get to the table, just want to mention, obviously next week's game, home game against Sheffield United. Well, would you look at that? They've only gone and got another red card, and would you look at that? It's only the superstar striker that they've signed, who was a free agent a month ago, Patrick Bamford. So they now, as far as I know, have at least 3 players suspended. One of them's Tanganga, one of them's Bamford, and the other guy, I don't know who that is, for the game next week. So isn't that fantastic? And on the strength of Sheffield United coming to the Den. Wow, could be a good game. Now, let's have a look at this table then. Here we are. We are in 5th. We are in 5th. We are 5 points ahead of the team below us, which is Wrexham. Yes, we have a 5-point gap between 5th and 6th. And as I mentioned before, look at the goal difference. It's +1. Thank you very much, Charlton Athletic. Thank you very much. Obviously, that 4-0 win outdoes the Coventry 4-0 defeat earlier in the season. Fantastic stuff. In terms of missing out on the playoffs, we are 6 points from missing out on the playoffs. 6 points. 6 points away. And we are 6 points from second. So we're equidistant from second and from not being in the playoffs. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? There are teams with games in hand, so that the gap that we've got is important. Watford have a game in hand on us. Hull have a game in hand. Ipswich have a game in hand. So good that we won today. If we just look ahead to next week, Sheffield United, they have double figure wins. They've got 11 wins. They've only drawn 2 and they've lost 15. And it's a tale of 2 halves of the season. First half they were dog shit. Second half they brought the old manager back. They've brought in some decent players. And, they started to play. So, will be interesting to see. Even with the 3 players missing, they had the 2 players missing today, and they still managed to beat Ipswich. Although that was a home game at Bramwell Lane. What do they do on away games? It's not going to be an easy game next week. Even though they are down there with Charlton, they have won 11 games, which is as many games as Wrexham has won. And that's the thing. If you want to be at the top of the table, it's about winning games. If you want to avoid being at the bottom, it's about not losing them. So, yeah. Now, while we're here, let's have a little look towards next week. Who else is everybody else playing? So Friday, Bristol City Derby. So Bristol City, if they win that, they'll get up to 46, but not a problem for us. I think we probably should be looking at Hull and Ipswich and Middlesbrough. Who are they playing? So Middlesbrough got Norwich at home. They're at home to Norwich. Hull have got Blackburn away. Ipswich are at home to Preston, who have absolutely collapsed. Their striker, he's been suspended again. They lost 3 in a row. So I'm not sure they can do a job against Ipswich, but you never know in this league. Crazy league. Crazy league. Who else is there? Wrexham and Watford. Wrexham, who are they playing? Sheffield Wednesday. Well, you'd imagine that's a win. Especially by next week, they'll be absolutely gutted of players, won't they? And Watford got Swansea at home. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy for us, but if we do slip up, I don't think there's many issues with other teams catching up to us so soon. One thing to note with the Barry Bannan situation, obviously, we play them on February the 14th. I would imagine he's probably going to ask not to be involved in that game, which is a bit mental, but, such is the way these days. So we'll see how that happens. Now, finally, moving on to this. Of course, it's Match Worn Shirt, mws.com. The shirts are on auction. The shirts from today's game, from today's outstanding, dominating victory against Charlton Athletic at home, they're on auction and you can buy them. Just the starting 11 players. They're worn and signed. You got Jake Cooper, Femi Aziz, Langstaff, Mitchell, Denor, Doughty, Taylor. What does that mean? I don't know. Why is there a football there? What does that mean? Does that mean he got man of the match? He didn't get man of the match though, did he? Was it Femi Aziz? I don't know what that means then. If we click on it, will it tell us what that means? Nope. All generated with AI. Hey. Damn, bro. So you have to... There's extras on. 130 quid. 130 quid. You bid 89 and you pay 130. Jesus. And you have to pay for shipping? God damn. So, no idea why there's a football there next to his name. Weird. Josh Coburn, Crammer, Maxime Terramoa Krogan, and Camille Negley. Not only that, but by the time, if you're depending when you're watching this, you've got 13 hours and 8 minutes to bid on these shirts from the Southampton game on New Year's Day. For some reason, probably because it's Christmas period, they've had this one going for 3 weeks instead of the normal 2 or 1 week. And what are we on? Who's in the lead? And if we get rid of that one, there's 13 because there's 2 extra. Who's in the lead? 193 for Jake Cooper. Here's the thing, Jake Cooper, obviously this is the season, he's breaking records. Obviously, you would probably want the one that he wore when he broke the record. But, imagine he wants to keep that, or maybe, give it away to charity, to auction or something like that. But, so for some reason there's 2 squad signed shirts. One of them, obviously these aren't match worn, but they have been signed. One of them is at 180 and one of them at 89. Again, weird. Who else? So Femi's is £174, Crammer £171, and JCube 193. So yeah, how about that? And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.